Actually, one of the most interesting ones is a piece of empirically evidenced theory of organizational life from a French Canadian called Elliot Jacques, that came up with this idea of levels of work. And we've talked a little bit about this already, but the notion that if you genuinely aspire to be a leader of your organization and to be a custodian for your way of life, what you're inviting is what Jacques describes as the higher levels of work being an aspiration to be, and he would describe it in corporate life as corporate prescience. The notion that you are sitting with the responsibility not just for the output that's achieved right now, but for the sustainability of the way of life, not just in your organization, but in the sector that it's responsible for and the role that it plays in society. So he would describe that responsibility as coming with the need to project forward generationally, 20, 30, 40 years plus. What the actions I take now will have an impact on the role that my sector plays in the world in generations that follow. So how do I make sure that that's brought to bear on my decision making? And of course, in the sports world, we see wonderful examples of that, the best and most cited of them being the All Blacks. And their notion of being a good ancestor is rooted in that sense of intergenerational custodianship. Many have come before you and many will come after. How can you ensure that you be a good ancestor?
Yeah.
And leave that jersey in a better place?
Yeah. Yeah. There's those two interesting dimensions, I think, to that. Well, it's not necessarily what Jacques himself might have written, but around that levels of thinking that always prompts me. And you've talked about one being kind of the temporal frame, if you like, and how expansive that is. I think the other thing that always occurs to me is more the spatial, or that idea of kind of zooming in and out. So what's going on right now, you know, in my club, or if we're a governing body for, you know, across our sport. But it's that kind of zooming out of what are the broader dynamics in play, which is, I think, one of the things we talk about a lot, isn't it, at the moment, is, you know, and take the Olympic sports system in the UK over the last 20 years. That hasn't evolved in a bubble separate from the wider societal dynamics in terms of economics and politics and technology, and all these things are evolving. I think that's the levels of thinking too, is what else is influencing our behaviour, values, beliefs, those types of things. And not to say they're wrong or right, but just how aware are we of them to then hopefully make good decisions, good judgments about where we are, where we're going, and ultimately, creating something sustainable, and people look back and say, yeah, you are a good ancestor because you have been able to hold those things.